From the outside, Singapore looks rich. It is ranked the 4th richest country in the world, the 3rd best country to build multi-generational wealth, and average wealth per adult stands at over $517,000, with 39% of adults belonging to the top 10% in terms of global wealth. But on the ground, many Singaporeans are still struggling with money. 61% of adults feel like they are living paycheck to paycheck, while close to half of them saying that they will never be able to retire. And almost half of the households are saving less than 10% of their monthly income, leaving them unable to cope with unexpected financial expenses. Many have pointed to the high inflation, the high cost of living, and even the government as the cause of the issue. But perhaps the real issue is a little more fundamental and closer to home than what we would like to think. In order to understand why many of us are in this predicament, we will first need to understand what is money, and why do some seem to have an endless amount of it while others barely have any. Money is defined as a medium of exchange, a way to pay for goods and services. Essentially, money is a way of trading value. For example, if you purchase a bar of chocolate worth $5, this means you perceive its value to be worth $5. Or if you are paid $5,000 a month to work, this means your boss feels that your value is worth this much to him. But of course, the value of something isn't determined by just you or any individual person. Instead, it is determined by the market as a whole. And we see this play out all the time, everywhere. Take for example, I would argue that a construction worker and a cleaner are as equally valuable as a doctor, because without a construction worker, we will not have a house to live in, and without a cleaner, our streets would be filthy. But because of how society values each job, and because of the laws of supply and demand, a doctor is perceived to be more valuable than a construction worker and a cleaner. Which is why some jobs tend to have higher pay than others, which brings us back to the point, money equals value. But what does this have to do with you? Much like a river, money is ever flowing, and depending on who you ask, different people will represent this differently. If you ask Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad book, the money flow is represented in something called a cash flow quadrant. Or if you ask a business owner, this flow is shown in a cash flow statement. But if you strip out everything and leave only the bare minimum, this money flow is represented by our income and expenses. For most people, our income comes mostly from our day job, and as long as we are able to work, we will have this income. Meanwhile, money leaves us in the form of consumption, such as food, car, and subscriptions. And finally, whatever money that's left behind forms our net worth. So then, when studies show that many Singaporeans are struggling with money, where do you think the problem lies? Is it our income or our expenses? The answer is probably both. According to official statistics, only 1 in 10 households in Singapore do not earn enough to meet their basic needs. But even so, there is a ton of financial support available, from schooling to housing to career and many more, which could help to alleviate the situation a little. And because of that, I would think that for the majority of us, the problem has less to do with income, but instead, it has more to do with how we spend our money. The same study, which found that almost half of the households are saving less than 10% of their monthly incomes, also found that 37% of top earners are spending everything that they earn. Yes, you can see that housing, food, and living expenses in Singapore are expensive. But when you are paid well above the median salary, and yet you somehow manage to spend everything that you earn, you probably need to take a good hard look at how you spend your money. Quick pause. If you're looking to start investing, here's why you should consider using Webull. First, Webull offers a wide range of markets for you to trade and invest in, such as the US, Singapore, China, and Hong Kong markets. 2. Webull offers low trading commissions. For the US market, you can start investing from just 50 cents per order with no platform fee during regular and extended hours. As for Singapore, China, and Hong Kong markets, their pricings are competitive as well. 3. Webull has a ton of useful data to help you make smart investing decisions, such as company financials, analyst ratings, and up-to-date news. New users who use my link to sign up to Webull will be able to get up to $350 cash vouchers when you deposit $10,000 by 3rd January 2025, 15:59 Singapore time. make 5 US buy trades within 30 days from the first deposit, and maintain the funds there till 3rd March 2025. Plus, you will also unlock up to 6.9% per annum yield for USD Money Bull for 30 days when you fund the account with a minimum of $2,000 US. This is on top of commission-free trades for US stock trading for 1 month, commission-free trades for Singapore stock trading for 3 years. Plus, both new and existing users will also get to enjoy US options commission-free when you trade a minimum of 100 option contracts in the month. So if you are interested, do sign up to Webull using my link down below. And let's get back to the video. Do you care more about appearing as though you have money or actually having money? While the answer to this question may seem like common sense, many seem to struggle with this very basic concept. A study found that 38% of Gen Z and 28% of billionaires have been spending money that they don't have on travel after seeing other people's vacations on social media. While 36% of homeowners struggle to pay off their housing loans, and around 1/3 of credit card holders often pay the minimum sum instead of paying it off in full. The rat race is when we work a 9 to 6 job in order to afford the lifestyle that we want. For most of us, this is an exhausting and repetitive lifestyle that leaves little to no time for relaxation or enjoyment. This can be to afford to pay for an expensive condo, luxury car, or latest gadgets, where essentially you are exchanging from being rich to looking rich. When Rihanna, the singer, filed for bankruptcy and ended up suing her financial advisors, he said, was it really necessary to tell her that if you spend money on things, you will end up with the things and not the money? And ironically, most of the things that we spend on barely have any lasting effect on our happiness. Researchers found that we feel happiest when we anticipate a reward. And by the time we get what we want, our happiness would have diminished. What's the point of it all if it means having to continue to work non-stop at a job that we might not even like in order to fund a lifestyle that doesn't even give us long-lasting happiness? Thankfully, it doesn't have to be this way. But in order to escape this vicious cycle, you need to first admit that you have a problem with money. Not the government, not the property agents, not the influencers, but you. Because the world doesn't owe you anything, and no one is responsible for yourself other than you. Once you have come to terms with that, only then you are ready to talk about building your wealth. For this, there's an entire industry out there telling you how to do that, whether it's by budgeting your money, using the best credit cards, finding the best bank accounts, optimizing your CPF, or just saving and investing your money consistently over the long term. While these financial strategies are good for most of us, the fact of the matter is none of the wealthiest people use any of these strategies to get rich. Instead, all of them rely on the strategy that we talked about earlier, where money equals value, but they do it on a large scale. For example, Jeff Bezos founded the e-commerce giant Amazon that does e-commerce, cloud computing, online advertising, digital streaming, and artificial intelligence. Or Bill Gates, who co-founded the software company Microsoft, which is now the world's largest software company in the world. But of course, it is hard to even imagine reaching their level. So some examples that are closer to home are tuition teachers who teach multiple students at once, app developers whose app have millions of downloads, or even influencers who have hundreds of thousands of followers. Now, I'm not saying that in order to get rich, you need to become an influencer or a tuition teacher or an app developer, because scale can also come in the form of monetary sense. For example, a property agent could sell a $51 million property and immediately earn $1.5 million commission. Or if you could help a business increase their conversion across their entire site, like rewriting their email, redoing their landing pages, and you just take a 1% cut, a $10 million increase in revenue would mean you are making $100,000. Though, this isn't something that everyone can do, nor everyone should try to. You'll be perfectly fine if you stick to the most basic financial strategies of saving as much as you can and invest the rest. But as the saying goes, if you don't want to be like everyone else, you need to make sacrifices that others are not willing to make. Yes, most startups fail within the first 10 years, and most people will doubt your ability to succeed, including yourself and your loved ones. But you just have to keep trying, because among all your failures, all it takes is just one success to prove everyone wrong. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she was able to publish Harry Potter. Colonel Sanders' recipe got rejected over 1,000 times before it was approved. And here's the secret: you don't have to worry about building the next big thing, because everyone starts small. Mark Zuckerberg didn't start Facebook thinking that he wanted to change the world. It was just a website to get people to rate one another's photos. All you need to do is just identify a problem and issue that you want to solve and work on it. It could be an app that guides people on how to navigate MRT stations, or a channel that teaches people how to beat game bosses, or a site that teaches people how to use credit cards, and so on. If it is something that the market wants, that is good. You have found your winning formula. Otherwise, you can just keep tweaking your idea as you go along, and sooner or later, the path will lead you to success.